Hey guys, good morning and welcome all, especially those people thinking about getting in the vending business, people that are already in the vending business, or if in fact you are struggling. Locations, locations, locations. It will make or break your business. A little bit more about locations and how we can help you towards the end of this video, but what I want to do is I want to clear up the question of, and I see it every day in the groups, the Facebook groups, people ask me all the time on YouTube, do I get a machine first or do I go get the location first? Well, the key here is you need to decide, am I getting in the vending business, or am I just going to play around? Am I going to dabble? Am I going to put one little, $300 machine at my friend's tire shop or whatever? So you got to decide, am I getting in the business? My best example of a guy that decided he was going to get in the business, this story took place over a breakfast. I was on my way from Las Vegas to Southern California, and I stopped along the way there with a customer, and he told me a great story. He said, what I did, he said, I did a little research on the vending business, didn't know a tremendous amount about it, but he said, I'm going to give it a try. So he bought a few machines, 6, 8, whatever, 10, 12. He bought a batch of machines, he told me. Took them home, cleaned them up, got them location ready. And I mean painted, labels, set the price, which can change, but let's just say he set the average price for soda back 10, 20 years ago of 75 cents, and the average price of snacks was probably 50 and 75 cents. So he got these machines ready. If it was, let's say, a 9-column soda machine, he brought 9 cases of soda with him. If it was a 32 selection snack machine, he brought 32 products, times maybe 6 deep. And he loaded the soda and snack machine on his truck or on his trailer, I think he had at the time, and he started hitting up the places in his own town. He would pull up with the truck, with the snack, with the soda, talk to the people, and say, there's no time like the present. I'm here now. I've got the equipment. I can move it in myself. This guy's a tough guy. He's a strong guy. He could move equipment by himself. So he told me that he did this, and every day that he went out, when he had a new pair of machines ready to go, that he wouldn't come home until he placed those machines, whether it was in a repair shop or a laundromat. And to this day, and I'm going to leave him a little bit anonymous along with his town out of respect, but he's maybe not the only vendor in his town, but he's the only vendor. There might be a couple small ma and pa guys, but anyways, so that's one way to do it. So getting back to, do I need the machines or do I need the locations? You can always get a location. Locations are out there. There's a big turnover in the vending business. A lot of people don't do it right, to where new vendors say, gee, everywhere I look, there's already machines. The first question you want to ask, especially when you're on a cold call, is, are you completely happy with your vending service that you have now? Well, guess what? About 8 out of 10 people are going to say, well, not really. The guy's kind of been slacking. We don't see him a lot in the winter. Got a lot of bad food, blah, blah, blah. So question number one, are you happy? And you're gonna get the right answer. In other words, you want to ask questions that only favor you. So now the key is, the guy says, well, gee, what's it going to take? What do you charge? Blah, blah, blah. Explain to him it's a service. But if you don't have the machines in your garage, if you're just starting out, or in your warehouse, maybe your storage unit, you say, yeah, gee, it might take me a week or two. I got to go out and buy some machines. Well, by that time, maybe the guy that's in there has already cleaned up his act. Now the guy's going to call you and say, well, we're going to give this guy another chance. But if your answer is, we can bring him first thing in the morning, you have a way better chance. Now, here's an even better story than the first one. Back in the early 80s, I think it was either 80 or 81, I was involved with a full-line vending operation in Reno. Now, I was still in San Jose as the distributor, and I had my big game store and selling slot machines and everything. But my partner tells me, he said, and this guy was a player. He was he was a player. So it's winter. He's in his shop and it's 11:30 at night. 11:30. This guy never answered his phone. He had a recorder that you'd have to talk into the recorder, and then he would pick up if he knew it was me or knew who it was. I think he was hiding from his wife for the most part. So anyways, for some reason, he answers the phone. Maybe he thought it was his girlfriend or something. Who knows? So he picks the phone up, and on the other end, and I'm going to use his first name, is Joe. Okay? Joe said, "My jukebox is broken, and I've got a lobby full of guests, patrons, and I need a jukebox, and I need it right now." So my partner talks to him and says, "Gee, you know, it's going on midnight here." He says, blah, blah, blah. So then he finds out which Joe this really is. And so my YouTube video doesn't get taken down, I'm not going to tell you the kind of business Joe had. He was very famous. The business catered to the male audience only. Females were not allowed in. It was a huge operation. He was on the news a lot. It was 12 miles east of Reno, Nevada, out there on the 80. So what's my partner do? He's got kind of a funky jukebox, something from the 70s. He said it was in a bar, it never did much, and it hadn't run in a year. So he filled in a few of the slots that were missing for records, brought it out there. He brought a cigarette machine with him because they wanted a cigarette machine, and he brought a soda machine. Sodas did awesome. The soda machine sat in the driver's room where they waited for their customers. Cigarette machine did awesome. And the jukebox, this old funky jukebox, lasted about 10 days, never missed a beat, because he told him, he said, "Joe," he said, "this is just a standby. I'm going to order a brand new one from my distributor on Monday and have it shipped up." So he said ultimately it took a week or 10 days before he got a new jukebox. So back then, jukeboxes did $40 a week. This one, once he put the new one in there, and it had a dollar bill validator, which was something brand new for the early 80s, it went from 40 or 50 a week to 400. Okay? He put a short cigarette machine in there, which we used to call an 850 Apollo. Now, early 80s, it may have been a Satellite or a Century, but it was an AP machine, held 850 packs, which sounds like a lot, but it wasn't. He was going out there twice a week to service the cigarettes, because back then everybody smoked. So I brought up from San Jose, I brought up one of the tall 72-inch, same kind of machine, AP. I think they were called 1100s. That's how many packs it held. Well, this would get the thing by for a week. So where I'm going with this story is, in the Reno operation that I was involved in, this turned out to be absolutely tenfold the biggest spot we ever had, and it only ever had 3 machines. Cigarettes, no snack, there was no room, a soda machine, and of course the jukebox for the lobby. So I think this location with the cigarette sales, and they were $1 a pack back then. I think everybody else was still 75 cents, something like that. So there was no commission. He wanted the prices to be lower for his patrons. No validator on the cigarette machine. I think the location on some real stellar weeks did $1,500. When we had locations, it did $80. So it just goes to show you, if we were not prepared and we had equipment to go, and I'm not saying go out at midnight, but this partner of mine, he was a little goofy. He was the type of guy that would do this. If you don't have the equipment, you're going to lose the spot. You know why? The name of our company was first in the phone book. It started with an A. Because once we got to know Joe a little bit better, and he was a personable guy, a businessman, we said, "Joe, that night when you called at 11:30, how did you find us?" He said, "Well, why did you call us?" He said, "You were the first in the phone book." Well, if we would have been, Z Games, we would have never got the chance to get that spot. So life is timing, but once again, guys, I'm going to get back to the initial question. Yes, you needed to do 2 things. You need to decide if you're getting in the vending business for real, and then yes, do a little research. Our groups in Facebook are great. Figure out what kind of brand you're going to buy and stick with it. I don't recommend you go to Craigslist and OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace and buy every single type of machine that's $300. Stick to the big American-built machines and buy one brand. And you know what? If you end up buying 3 Dixie Narco 276Es, 501Es, and you still don't have a location, and now you've bought one snack machine, you're getting kind of antsy, remember, you made the decision to get in the vending business. Now, if you're coming up cold on the locations, I'm going to put my link down below. We have specials. We will get you a side-by-side location, which is what we consider a snack soda. In your town, let us know where you are. I will put you in touch with the only locating service that I endorse for full line. I also have an endorsee for bulk, and I will put you in touch with either one of these companies. These are not fly-by-night guys that work out of their house and try and take a $100 bill from you. These are people that have been in business for years and years. So, guys, I hope this clears up a little bit. Location first? No, don't do it. You'll get in trouble and you'll lose more spots than you will actually place. Get the equipment, take it home, familiarize yourself. I think I have told you the most important person in the vending business is going to be the setup man. Now, if you're a one-man operation, you work with your wife, you work with your son, you are most likely the setup man. If that machine gets delivered, you know how many times I see a post on the groups in the morning? Gee, my machine every other time kicks out 2 cans. One time it emptied the whole column. It takes the money, you make a selection, then it gives the money back. People on location don't want to see this. If you're there now struggling and you've just set your equipment in there, believe me, they're sitting behind the counter with kind of a scowl on their face because they wonder who they got involved with. So anyways, guys, I hope you get something from this video. Pass it around if you can. We are still a small YouTube channel. And there you go. The question has been answered. It doesn't need to be asked again. Location or equipment? Get the equipment. That's the only answer, and it's the only correct answer. So guys, for now, Doug at Doug's World Tour. Wishing you all the best. Out.